Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We are absolutely thrilled with two authors that have joined us today in the office. Do you want to introduce yourselves to all our fans?
Yes, I am Maika Moulite. I am very nervous.
I am Maritza Moulite, and I am even more nervous.
Thank you so much for coming in today. How about we kick things off with you telling us a little bit about your upcoming book, Dear Haiti, Love Elaine.
Yes. So, Dear Haiti, Love Elaine is about 17-year-old Alaine Beaupalin, and she has a prank that she performs at school that goes terribly wrong. And she gets punished and she gets sent to Haiti. And while she's there, she gets to spend some time at her aunt's nonprofit, and she also spends some time with her mother, who is a journalist who is having a fiasco of her own.
And actually, Dear Haiti, Love Elaine is an epistolary novel, so you're getting to know our characters and the storyline and plot through letters, diary entries, social media posts, so it's really fun to explore what's going on and even explore the different ways that we're telling the story.
And what was it like writing this story together as sisters?
The worst.
I was going to say, we're still here together. But it was really good. It was fun. I think going through this entire process, it's really great to have her here with me. There's nothing like having someone that knows everything that you're talking about already. I don't have to give her all the backstory. I can just hop in and like, girl, this is what happened today. But it's been really good.
And we actually have a rule, so if something happened in the story that we disagreed on, which didn't happen a lot, but whoever pled their case the most passionately and made the best argument won, because we knew that the story would be better for it.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to tell this story in particular?
So growing up, our parents didn't allow us to watch TV during the weekdays. So we could only watch Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, or the news, and PBS as well. So we spent a lot of time going to the library and maxing out the number of books you could check out, which at the time, I'm not sure if it is the same today, was 30. So we would read a lot of books, but we didn't see a lot of characters who looked like us. And we still loved the books nonetheless, but we thought it would be really cool to have a book with the main character who had our heritage.
Yeah. And Elaine is just so sassy and fun and confident and amazing and completely unlike how we were in high school. So she was an inspiration for us, and we really just wanted to share our idea of who she was in our heads with the public.
Well, that is a great segue to the next question. How did you develop your character, Elaine?
I would say that Elaine kind of came to us. We didn't have the actual story figured out, but Elaine's voice was clear. We knew who she was, what she liked, what she didn't like, and we kind of fit in the things around it. The story has changed, of course, over time, as you edit, and we'll see certain things that we had moved away from when we were editing. We're like, oh, this doesn't make sense with the larger context of the story anymore. But one of the things that always stood out for us was Elaine's voice. That was just really clear.
Ditto.
And what do you hope all the readers will learn from Elaine?
I think that what we hope the readers will learn from Elaine is that it's okay to be yourself, and it's also okay to be vulnerable and to open yourself to being able to improve, to getting to know people that you didn't know before and make close relationships, that it's fun and exciting to get to know your culture in a way that you didn't know before. And that it's never too late to forge relationships, even if they're a bit later than you expected to form them.
So if Dear Haiti, Love Elaine was turned into a movie or a series, which actress would you love to cast as Elaine?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. I can't. She's probably too young. She's definitely too young. But the little girl from Blackish, she's amazing. I can't remember what her name is right now. I'm totally blanking. I didn't know her name.
So I think that, so we would want her to look like a high school version of Aja Naomi King from How to Get Away with Murder, yes. But then have the exact same snarky tone of Yar Shahidi in Grownish and Blackish.
Yes.
Yes.
Which was actually the inspiration, because we were able to make a vision board for the cover of the book to say, like, this is some of the things that we like. It was really great because our editor, shout out to Natasha, or Tasha, she really asked us, like, are there any things culturally that would work or wouldn't work on the cover? And we were able to kind of keep that in mind. And we created some Pinterest boards, and we made a board for this is what Elaine looks like, this is what her hair alone looks like, this is what some Haitian cultural things as well. So yeah, this is the mix of that. And shout out to our creative director as well as the artists, who I'm totally blanking on their names right now because of nerves.
GD.
It's beautiful. The artwork's beautiful.
Yes.
And it's really neat to hear kind of your how you planned out all the mood boards and how it all came together. So what other YA books are you loving right now?
Ooh, loving right now? Right now, well, I'm actually reading the next installment in, I'm totally blanking right now.
Wait, while you're thinking,
yes.
So I am currently listening to The Bells by Danielle Clayton, and it's really cool because I like how the world is so imaginative, and the world building is just so unique. Like, I never heard of a story like that. And then I'm also reading an advanced reader copy of Color Me In by a fellow Novel 19s / Las Musas author of ours, Natasha Diaz, and it's about a girl who is exploring her privilege and life as a girl who is how did they call it? She's white passing, but she's biracial, and she's kind of getting to know herself more. And it's really fun and exciting, and yeah, that's what I'm into right now.
Yeah, and now it's come to me. I'm reading An Ember in the Ashes, and I totally love that book. But what I'm really looking forward to, so I'm kind of like twisting it. The question is Don't Date Rosa Santos by Nina Moreno. She's also a part of this group that we're in called Las Musas, which highlights Latinx authors. So yeah, we're really excited for those.
Fantastic. So what inspired both of you to become YA authors?
I feel like this time in your life, like when that we focus on for YA, is very critical. Like you want to see yourself reflected in the things that you're reading. You're learning about the world and what you're reading. I remember because we couldn't watch TV during the weekdays, I would get a lot of the adventure in the stories that I was reading. So I like that we are able to have an impact on younger people, and it'll be stories that they remember long into their life. So that's very exciting.
And books in general, just like the ones that stay with you forever. Like, even from being 4 years old, Goodnight Moon is still like my favorite. I know that, That's easy. Okay, but middle grade I love, but YA, it's such a precious time in your life. You're getting to know yourself. You're getting to learn things about the world and have more of an independent streak than you did growing up. And I think that this age group is really receptive to learning about different cultures and different people and ideas and just learning in general. And I like that. I like that young adult novels is just about learning about yourself and other people.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the novel, where did you do most of the writing? Like, did you do it together? Would you take a separate approach?
So we did a lot of the writing together. I am a pantser, which I have said prancer before. So that's one of the first time I spoke with our editor, I said prancer. And Maritza is more of a plotter. So this means that a lot of times when I'm writing, I will be very whimsical. I'm like, let's see where the story takes me. And Maritza is like, we need to know what our plot points are, plan it all out. And what working together has done for us is allowed us to be more consistent with our writing, to actually finish something that we've written. And I think that's part of the process.
And for this book in particular, we had this is the first book that we've written together, or ever, but we had a 20-page outline. We knew every single thing that was going to happen, but also left room for the creative juices to flow in different ways. But we decided to do that so that even if Maika was working on this section, I'd be able to do this other part because I knew how that part would be ending, and that was really helpful. And none of us wrote just all of the diary entries or all of the letters. You see all of our different writing infused throughout, so the voice would be consistent and that we have an opportunity to do that. And then outlining is also important because it's an epistolary novel and we had all those different formats. We wanted to spread it out and then also make sure that the different pieces of media that we were using would bridge the gap for what we needed to happen in the plot as well.
Yeah, especially as we,
great.
Yes, especially as we hop through time or we hop through different media. It had to be clear what needed to happen, and there were definitely times when I would read something that that I thought was really good. I was like, man, pat yourself on the back, Maika, that was great. And Maritza had written that part. Or Maritza would be like, ooh, this needs to happen. I know exactly what needs to happen. And she'd read a little bit down and I made that exact thing happen. Yeah. So our voice started to mesh into one.
And what did you learn about Haiti when you were writing this book that you may not have known before?
Yeah, I feel like Haitian people are very proud people, so you learn a lot about your culture growing up. You learn that we're the first Black republic to gain its independence through rebellion, and it's a point of pride for sure, so we knew that. But it was really nice to learn about some of the women behind the scenes that are not necessarily highlighted in the way that a lot of the male heroes are. And while our book has a lot of historical elements to it, some of it is an alternate history because we've kind of taken our poetic license, but it was really cool to see some of the women highlighted in that way for us.
Yeah, to speak specifically about two women, well, first, in something that Elaine writes in the book, she complains about the fact that all of the freedom fighters and historical figures that we know years down the line are all men. And then as she was going through doing her assignment and her teacher pointing it out to her, like there were also women involved as well. And Marie Lachne, she was mistress of one president and then married another president, but she kind of was the one behind the scenes pulling all of the strings. So we took that as an inspiration for what was happening. And then Marie David, there are a lot of Maries everywhere. Yeah. She was another first lady who ended up having to be exiled after her husband / king / a lot of things. His reign was cut short, and she moved away, and she ended up having to die in Italy. And it was just, we ended up switching things up for our story, but there were like a lot of strong women, and we know that intrinsically, but being able to do that research and then share it and take it a different way in our story was really, really fun to do.
Yeah, so shout out to Girl Power.
And we have a couple questions from viewers.
Okay.
So when you were writing this book, did you ever encounter writer's block? And do you have any tips for getting over writer's block?
Oh, for sure. I think what really helped us was creating the outline because we knew what needed to happen to move the story along. So, and a lot of times for me, I would switch from typing on the computer to writing by hand. Something about it just makes you like kind of pause. You're writing slower. You're kind of thinking about what comes next instead of looking at that big daunting white screen of nothingness on a computer. You just, you're just more intentional about what it is. So for me, sometimes switching what I'm using to write on will help.
I also think that kind of imagining that you are the reader consuming something as you're writing it helps, because if I stop and think to myself like, oh, what would I want to see in this moment? That kind of spurs me to keep going. And then also, what else? I was going to say something. It spurs you to keep going. And then also, like, you don't have to write every single day. Like, I'm not a huge stickler for that. But being consistent in your writing and knowing that you can depend on yourself to be there, even if you're not writing like 10,000 words in one sitting, I think that really helps.
Yeah, and we have accountability in each other. So there are definitely times where we're like, we're going to get 2,000 words done today, no matter what. And if it's not done, then I'd be like, oh crap, it's going to breathe down my neck. So we would definitely, if you have an accountability partner, and it doesn't have to be the best writing that you do on the first try either, you just need something written. Because we found that this writing process has been nothing but editing and editing and editing and editing.
And last question, if your readers learn one thing from this book, what would you like it to be?
Oh, man. One thing. One thing that I would want readers to know is that you know, like it's like Maritza was saying earlier, it's okay to be vulnerable, and also realizing that, you know, sometimes your parents are doing the best that they can, and they might not always get it right. And I think sometimes it's hard, especially when you're younger, to consider that, oh my gosh, my mom is a human with feelings and thoughts and not just my mother. So really learning about that, I think, would be really cool. Just the mother-daughter relationship.
So I'm also going to cheat and say two things. So I would want readers to get first that, like, Haiti is so much more than what you see in the media. It's so much more than your initial thought about the country. We are full of strength and love and happiness and joy, and, you know, like, we're all people wherever we are, despite whatever we have or don't have. And then I also want readers to get that, like, there's strength in generations, that there's power in what goes through, like, what flows through your blood, what your mother and grandmother and great-grandmother, et cetera, passed down to you. That's what I want.
Yeah. Oh, God, I'll keep her around.
So the release date is September 3rd.
Yes.
2019. How do you both plan to celebrate?
Oh my gosh. What do we plan? Drinking? No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm just really excited. I know my mom is super excited. Our dad and our grandma, like, our family is just ecstatic. We're trying to figure out where the book launch party will be, so keep an eye out for that. It will definitely incorporate some Haitian touches because, you know, definitely have to.
We are designing dresses to, like, match the, what would you call this?
Oh yeah, the design.
Yeah. The design.
Yes. We're gonna come dressed as Elaine.
Yes.
You're going to wear that dress.
Yes, I wear that dress with no wig. I'm still rocking the bald head.
Amazing. Is there any final thoughts that you wanted to share?
One, thank you for watching. It's really great. We were so nervous, but I feel a little bit better now. Yeah, right. And also, you know, add us on Goodreads if you haven't already. Dear Haiti, Love Elaine. We're going to be extra. Follow us on all social media. It is our names, Maika Moulite and Maritza Moulite. And tweet at us and comment and all that stuff. We're really nice. We don't bite. Unless you bite first.
Thank you so much for you taking the time to sit down with us and talk to us about the book. And now that we're all friends, I'm sure that everybody's going to be anticipating picking up a copy of the book themselves.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.